Hello, everybody. Good to see all of you guys. Agent Locator, how are you guys doing? Do me a favor. I'd love to see your faces. Hello, Nicole, Al, Ashar, Stuart, Preeti. Preeti doesn't have a video on. Charles Smith. Good to see everybody. Do me a favor, guys. Turn your cameras on. Can you guys hear me? Wave at the screen. Wave at the screen if you can hear me. There we go. Excellent. Awesome. Do me a favor, guys. Turn your cameras on so I can see you. If you are appropriately dressed and not operating a motor vehicle, please turn them on. That is not a joke. That comes from years of doing this and knowing what to tell you, knowing the disclosures I need to give. Yes, Seth, there is a reason I said if you are appropriately dressed. Not a joke. Okay. So we're going to get things kicked off here, Agent Locator. By show of hands, look at Jay. Jay, I'm sorry to wake you from your nap, sir, but I'm glad you're here with us. Jay Dewan. Who here, by show of hands, has seen me before and done training with me and knows who I am? Show of hands. Raise your hands if you've been on training with me, you know who I am. Oh, look at this. We got some noobs who don't know who I am. Okay. So my name is Dale Archdekin. I am the founder of Smart Sales Coaching. We specialize in scripting and dialogue training for real estate agents, inside sales agents, and we also help teams and brokerages optimize their lead conversion and their sales training and management. That's what we do. And so Otto, who is the grand founder of Agent Locator, has reached out a while ago, and we've been doing regular webinars, training webinars for his audience, for all of you guys for a while now. Who here uses Agent Locator as your website? Okay, so there might be a couple of people who are new to this. Agent Locator is an amazing lead generation website for real estate and operates both in the US and Canada. And one of the benefits that they bring along is me and my gorgeous face to come in here and teach you guys how to convert more leads. My background is in being a cold call prospector when I first got into the business way back in 2008 in the US. And if anybody here is old enough to remember the pain, the meat grinder that we all went through in 2008 when the entire world collapsed, that was a bad time to get into the business. But I was an outbound cold call prospector for sale by owners, expireds for rent by owner. And then I went on to help build the #2 team in the Philadelphia market. 8 years ago, I founded my own coaching and training company. And part of what we teach and the principles that we bring to you guys comes from building and optimizing a sales team that could produce 600 to 700 transactions a year. So that's where we're coming from, right? And I'll just show you my website if you guys want to get more information about who my training company is and what we do. And then at the end of this, I have a couple of offers that I'm going to make you guys. Here's where you can find us. You can go to smartsalescoaching.com. And this is a class schedule that we teach. This class that I'm doing today with you, Unghosted, this is one of the classes that we teach here. And this is a 2-week schedule. We teach 2 classes a day, Monday through Friday, live on Zoom with our professional trainers. And our content topics change frequently. So it's $200 a month if all you wanted to do is attend any and all of these classes. And Agent Locator clients get a 10% discount off of that. So I'll talk later where you can find out more about that. The other thing that I want to show you before we get into this is if you want some more free training, if you like what I'm doing, I want you to take a quick screenshot of this. I do a podcast called Cash Call, and I've been doing it for 5 years. What we do is we take recordings, actual recordings from salespeople. We play those live on a Zoom like this, and we give actionable feedback as to how you can improve what you're doing in your sales conversations when you do get an interaction with somebody. So hit the QR code here. It's going to take you to our YouTube channel. I want you to subscribe. Okay? Hit the page, subscribe, wave at the screen when you've subbed so that I know that you are serious about your business. Okay, good. So go check it out there. Tons of free content that you can get from me. All right, let's get into today's content. Sound good, everybody? So we're talking about Unghosted, how to get people to answer you. So I normally start out with, well, let me ask you guys, how does it feel when somebody is ghosting you? Just unmute yourselves. Give me some feedback. How does it feel?
Frustrating.
Betrayed.
Frustrating. Ooh, betrayed.
Used.
Hold on. Betrayed. And then what was the one you just said?
Used.
Used. Wow. Look at
What?
this. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Used. What else do we have, everybody? What else? How else does it feel?
Doesn't bother me. It's expected in industry.
Sorry, Rizwan, what did you say?
It really doesn't bother me. It's expected.
Okay, I didn't ask you that. Rizwan is not following directions. Rizwan, give me, so what is your emotion around it then?
I have no emotions right now when I do cold calling and speak to people. Just no emotions.
No emotions. I like it. No emotions.
Or
ambivalent. Ambivalent's a good word, right? Ambivalent. Accepting. Accepting. Good. Okay, cool. So Rizwan is our cold call prospector. Rizwan, everybody, while I'm talking about this, I just talked about that cash call podcast that I do. I'm inviting all of you. I'm changing the format. Here's what I'm doing with the cash call podcast now. I'm inviting salespeople like you, and I strongly suggest that Rizwan take me up on this. You submit up to 5 calls. You join me on a video like this, and I do live coaching where we play your calls and I give you immediate feedback. Okay. That is going to be, we're testing out that format for the cash call show, and then it will be posted on YouTube. And anybody who does it with me, you will be able to review the video before it gets posted so that you can approve it, right? So that we're not making you look stupid or making you feel bad or making you cry in a corner by yourself. We don't want that. That's not good. So here's what you do. Emily, drop my email address in the chat, please. It's dale@smartsalescoaching.com, and Emily will drop it in the chat for you. I want anybody who's interested in doing this for me. Basically, you get a free 1-hour sales coaching session with me, as long as we can use it for YouTube, and we're giving you feedback on your recordings. Good? Rizwan, are you going to show me how amazing you are, sir?
I'll send you them. I have. I just started using Agent Locator, so give me a few weeks because cold calling, most of them drop quickly, but I do have a couple that's lasted a good few minutes.
I'm going to challenge you here. I can help you with the hangups.
Sure.
You send me those recordings and I can help cut down your hangups. I promise you.
Sure.
Okay, good. So Rizwan is in. Hopefully a few of you other people will do it too. Just shoot me an email and I'll give you instructions, okay? Cool. Excellent. All right. Let's talk about getting unghosted. Any other emotions around when people don't answer you, when they don't reply? You've reached out to them, either they're a brand new lead and they don't answer, or you were talking to them for a little while and then they go cold. They ghost you. Any other emotions anybody wants to share?
Well, you wonder if you did something wrong.
Hold on. Kim.
Oh, sorry.
Kim C. What'd you say?
Well, you wonder if you did something wrong or said the wrong thing, because you have time invested, right? And you just wonder what happened.
Great. Does anyone, somebody else said something, they unmuted themselves. Who else?
Yeah, I said
let down.
defeated.
Nicole Burns, defeated. Thank you. And then there was a male voice on top of Nicole's. Who was that?
Sorry, Dale. Yeah, let down.
Let down. Excellent. Thank you, Chris. These are all great. And I haven't done this before in this whole unghosted thing. What we're going to work on today, my goal when I do this, and like I mentioned, this is one of the classes that we teach in our class pass, and we really do it kind of as a workshop, where what we do is we help you craft messages that you can use when you get into this situation to help break that ice, help get them to drop that wall of anonymity. And normally we do that in a workshop. And so today my goal is that I want by the end of this that you're going to write 5 messages that you can use. Okay. You're going to write them and we're going to talk about ideas and we're going to talk about strategies. But first, I haven't done this before and I'm wondering if I could do this. Does anybody have on the top of your mind a lead that has recently ghosted you, that you were just recently trying to get to talk to you, that you could think of that would be sort of in front of you right now in your CRM that you could open up and tell me the chain of messaging? Does anybody have that? Does anybody want to volunteer that? If not, I'll move on. But I just thought that might be a fun exercise.
I have one not in the CRM, but they are looking to buy a new build.
Okay.
We WhatsApping them and texting them. Send them new builds. They've been ghosting me for the past week, I would say, back and forth. I've sent them new builds, send them what they want.
Okay.
It matches their criteria of what they provide to me.
Okay.
But literally gone dead. I've called them. They say they're busy, but never responded back.
Okay.
This morning they finally said it may be a little too high in price, but no context otherwise on what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Want to go out more, different areas where it's cheaper. Nothing like that.
Okay. Do you have the message chain in front of you from when they said this one might be too high?
Yeah, that's the last one that came in this morning.
Okay. Oh, they just answered you this morning.
Yeah.
Okay, that might not be a great example. Here's what I need is what I'm talking about is I've sent 3 messages to this person and they haven't answered anything. That's more kind of what I'm looking for. If anybody has that one.
That was a scenario until now. That was a scenario until.
Okay, well, you broke the ice and they answered great. Now you need to keep going.
I
George,
can give you an example.
Who's that?
It's Ashley.
Ashley. Great.
Hi.
Where are
Okay,
you at?
so this lead registered. It was a online lead for a pre-construction project that we have on the go.
Okay.
So that was April 3rd. We emailed out the package immediately, called and texted, no answer. Called back on the 12th, no answer. We left a voicemail. Called back on the 17th, no answer, left another voicemail, but haven't heard back.
Okay, so what I heard you say is I emailed and texted once, and then I called the voicemail, but no more texts.
Not since the first time, no.
Why?
Just because they hadn't responded, so we moved on because we thought maybe they weren't a texter.
Oh, got it. Okay, so first thing about getting unghosted, everybody, I want you to write this down. Never make another phone call that you will not back up with a text message if they don't answer. If you make a phone call and they don't answer, this is not 1993. Not everybody has a caller ID and an audio recording voice box, whatever the hell they were called, in their house. Most people are operating on cell phone now, and most people don't listen to voicemails or deal with voicemails. So if you make a phone call now that you do not text after, it is like a bear, taking a dump in the woods. We don't know whether it actually happened or not. That was a very terrible analogy. A tree falling in the woods. If nobody's there to hear it, if nobody's there to see your text message and you call them and you don't text them, it's like it never happened. It's a waste. You've wasted your call. Okay? Good?
Fair.
All right. So let's see. Ashley, what was the text message that you sent them?
Oh, goodness. I think it was something like, hi, name. You had registered for the information package for the project. I emailed you over the package. Did you receive it okay?
Okay, got it. Yeah. So you need to be texting them more. You need to call, text, and email, And I would suggest that unless you are working specifically in the over 55 community, I wouldn't leave voicemails either. They're a waste of time.
Got it.
Okay, good. Excellent. Here, I want you guys to write this down. Write this down. If the lead is ignoring the salesperson, stop being a salesperson. Okay? By show of hands, how many of you love chatting with a salesperson in your day-to-day life if you don't want something or don't have a question? How many of you? By show of hands. Well, you don't just go down to the local car dealership and BS with the boys and girls down there, play some cards, hang out with them? No, nobody wants to talk to a damn salesperson unless they need something or want to buy something, right, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that correct? That's us too.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. So when your everybody here knows how to write professional messages. You all know exactly how to sound like salespeople, right? And you need to do that at least up front, at least for the initial message. You need to exhibit some professionalism, correct? But here's the thing. After you send about 1 or 2 professional messages like a salesperson, and they start ignoring the salesperson, stop talking like a salesperson. You have to make it casual. You have to be a real person. Okay, now I solicited some emotions from you guys, right? Here's one easy way to not sound like a salesperson. We've got frustrating, betrayed, used. Woo. We've got wonder if you did something wrong, defeated and let down. And then, of course, Rizwan being, contrary, said, well, I have no emotions around this, right? I'm ambivalent or I'm accepting of it. Yeah. So we have a bunch of emotions here. How many of you put emotions into your messages to sound like a real person? How many of you? Kim, you do? Great. Kim, tell me one of your messages that has emotion in it. You're muted. It was magical, Kim, but you are muted.
I think it's quite often I try and do
Sorry.
that, not come across as the, direct salesperson.
Okay.
And
I'm going to
just-
go. So I'm going to do Kim C first, then we're going to Kim Allison. Okay. Kim Allison figured
Okay.
out where the mute button
I
was.
remember.
Kim C, give me
Yeah,
one of your messages that incorporates emotion.
Quite often, actually, I try to relate one of my own personal experiences with what we're talking about or what we're communicating back and forth about, whether it's a new build or buying an investment property, like a little rental.
So, okay, let me give you the scenario and you'll give me the example. Okay. We were going back and forth a little bit and then I stopped answering you. You sent one message. I didn't answer it. You sent two messages. I didn't answer it. Your third message, how does it incorporate emotion?
Well, what I'm going to do at the third one is just say, just following up. Do you have any questions? Is there anything else that, we can talk about or anything I've missed?
Okay. All right. That's very salesy. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess.
Kim
Yes.
Allison, how do you put emotions into your message?
I have one. I'm a very emotional person anyway, but I took a
Oh, I can't
buyer-
wait.
I took a buyer and her daughter out twice. And I get Zillow leads, so that explains a lot. But so I took them out twice, had a great rapport. I'm very friendly. I won't even go out the night before if I got showings the next day because I want to be, bubbly and full of personality and answer all their questions, ask questions.
Okay, that's magical. I'm going to bring you to the point because I got some people are falling asleep.
So anyway, So I took them twice and then didn't hear from her. She said she had to go away for the weekend. She'd be back Tuesday.
How dare
And so reached out, even said, hey, just checking on you. If something came, I always say, eventually after many, many texts trying to get a hold, if something came up, no worries, life happened. If you got another realtor that happened, I hate it, but it happened, I'll just say it full out.
Great.
In my texts, I write books, but
That's great.
and then she still doesn't get back. So
yeah.
That upsets.
So then what would be the next message?
Hope you're okay. Kind
There
of
it
worried
is.
about you, actually.
Good.
Because I kind of actually said, I didn't think you were the type of person that would not, give me a courtesy call. That's what I actually said.
Damn.
I am sick and tired of these people. I'm sorry.
That's hot. That is hot. That's called.
I've been in this business 20 years and I'm over it.
Yes.
Thank God for all my referrals that come, but
that's great.
leads
All right.
suck.
Thank you so much, Kim. All right, everybody. Everything that Kim just said is exactly what I'm talking about. So those are really good examples where she's infusing some emotion into it. I'd say Kim is probably one of the wordiest people here. And that's okay. That's her style. But even though if it's not your style, the fact is she's putting emotion in here and she's becoming a real person. What happens is that people are more likely to answer you. So I want to remind you again, the purpose of today's class is that you're going to have 5 messages, a series of 5 messages you can send if somebody stops answering you. Okay. So ignore the professional stuff up front. I want you selecting and writing some messages that you're going to use to break the ice. And I'm going to give you some examples. Now, if I take this concept of emotion and Kim's Allison started giving us that idea, right? So let's say frustrating. Let's write a message for frustrating. Let's see. I'm just going to spitball this. We just do it off the cuff. Raymond, I don't see you writing. Okay, there we go. Raymond Cronkright is going to start writing again. Okay, good job. Frustrating. hey, Rob, listen, normally it would be really frustrating if somebody doesn't answer me, but I'm sure you're probably just busy. Is that right? Question mark. How's that for frustrating? Yeah. Or this, hey, Stuart, listen, it's probably pretty frustrating for you that I keep chasing you around. I know it's frustrating for me to have to keep doing it. Are you blank? Question mark. How does that sound, everybody? Have you ever written any kind of message like that, Richard Basalon? Looking for the mute button. That's okay.
I got one.
Francis? Okay,
Yeah.
go, Francis. Let's hear it.
What I usually do it's to make it a little bit shorter. You said, "Hey, listen, Rob, it normally will be really frustrating." I would say something like, "Hey, Rob, how's everything going? Is everything okay?" Like to keep it as a friend, and something like, "Who the hell is this?" They sometimes answer.
Sure. Yeah. You can absolutely ask if everything is okay. Here's the point I'm making. Even having emotions around this stuff, you can bake it into your messages to help you not sound salesy, is my point. So great, Francis. Thank you for that message. That's a good one, too. Let's move on to betrayed. Whew, this is a tough one. How do we work betrayed in? I'm trying to teach you guys how to be creative with this stuff, is really what's going on. And this is how you get unghosted. This is how you get them to break the ice. Betrayed. Seth, when I put out so much time and energy on somebody, it could be easy to feel betrayed in some way if they don't answer me. But I'm sure that's not going on here. Question mark, right? Then ask them the question, are you blank or is it still blank? Whatever. Jane, what do you think? You like that one? I see the smile on your face. She's like, no way in hell I would ever write that to somebody.
I find it very aggressive.
Yeah, it is. It is aggressive. Would you like to be aggressive or ignored?
That's true.
I like to say you can't get any knower. I can't make it any knower. Okay? When they don't answer you, the answer is no. You guys all get that? You can't screw up no. Okay? Good. Now, all I'm doing here is I want to illuminate for you that you have to stop being a salesperson, that you need to be more creative. You need to use, humor, or you need to use, in this case, we're doing a little bit of guilt, right? You have to use something that's making the difference. And I want you guys writing these messages. You don't have to write down what I'm saying. I'm spitting this stuff out to give you ideas so that you can create your own messages that you do feel comfortable with, Jane, that you can then use. Because again, remember, who likes salespeople until you need one? Who likes salespeople? No? Okay, so if you start ignoring the salesperson, it's really easy to continue ignoring the salesperson. And if they keep sounding like a salesperson, I'm going to keep ignoring the salesperson. So they better not sound like a salesperson, right? In order to get me to answer them. Used. I don't even know how to do used, man. Jeez. Whew. Used. This is tough. Used. Used. I'm sure that you weren't just using my time without the intention to potentially buy or sell. Is that right? Question mark. Now that, Jane, is a strong cup of tea. Okay. Good. Normally, I'm totally happy having buyers and sellers use my time to educate themselves about buying and selling. At this point, I'm wondering if it was a good investment. Let me know, question mark. How's that? Okay, good. Again, I'm not doing this for you guys to take these messages verbatim. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to expand your creativity and expand your mind, because I know that you all have the capability to be creative and to switch out of salesperson mode and switch into real person mode, right? It might even be helpful if you pretended that the lead that you're trying to get to answer you is your kid or your neighbor or your friend or your frenemy, right? Or the boss you didn't like or the boss you did like. Yeah. Or the coworker you did or did not like. Okay. Or the mail person. Mailman, mail woman, mail other, whatever. Wonder if you did something wrong. Hey, listen, I don't know. I've hit you up like 5 times now. I can't help but wonder if I did something wrong. Let me know. Stephanie likes that one. Good. Defeated. Whoo, gosh. Hey, you know what? I'm a strong salesperson. I never feel defeated. I might be starting to crack on this one. Can we talk now? Question mark. Or I never want to feel defeated and I won't give up, even if you've given up on me. Is that the case? Question mark. Stephanie. Yes, I'm just pulling this out of my butt, everybody. But you can do this too. All right. Are you guys working on writing your messages? You assume that the first professional message went out, or even the second professional message went out. Here's what I want you to write. I want you to write 5 messages you can use in sequence that are casual or whatever it is. Let's, how about we work on the scenario of it's somebody who was inquiring about property. You had a little bit of back and forth, and now they've totally ghosted you, right? You did 2 professional messages. Now we need a series of messages that we'll send. All right, so I just gave you examples of using emotion, right? Let me talk about the reasons that people ignore you. And you can take that and you can actually write messages around it. And I'm going to show you how. Let's go back up here. Here we go. Reasons people ignore you or ghost you. And this is certainly not an exhaustive list, but the point of putting this together is to help jog your memory, or not memory, but to help incite your creativity. They're busy. Hey, I'm sure you're busy. I'm crazy busy too. Just let me know yes or no if I should keep following up with you, right? That's busy. I just worked it in there. Not interested. Hey, Jane, I know you were interested, but things may change over time. Are you not interested now? Please let me know. Yeah. Don't want to tell you no. I love this concept. What do you have to do when you get gum in your hair, everybody? You cut it out. Why do you cut it out, Jane?
Because there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, if you screw with it, it gets worse, right?
Right.
Did you know that salespeople are like gum in your hair? If you do anything other than ignore them, it gets worse, right? Yeah, if you interact with them, they're going to keep talking to you. So sometimes people ignore you because you're a salesperson and they don't want to screw with the gum in their hair, right? They're like, oh, no. I don't want to answer you because it's just going to get worse if I answer you. You will hold it against me in a court of sales if I say anything, right? Hey, Jane, listen, I don't like talking to salespeople any more than the next woman, but I just need to know this and I'll go away. Okay? Let's be real about it. Don't want to make a decision and you represent needing to be ready to make one. How many times have you spoken to a lead, right? Where let's say they were a buyer or they were a seller and they want to cut you off and say, oh, hey, I'm not ready to sell my house. I'll give you a call when I'm ready. Or, oh, hey, I'm not ready to buy something. I'll let you know when I'm ready, right? And you're like, I was just having a conversation with you. I wasn't trying to sell you a house today, you know? But they, in their own mind, think that you represent, you, even having a conversation with you, represents being ready to make a decision and move forward, right? So maybe that's what's going on here. Hey, Kim, I get it. You might not be ready to make a decision, and I'm not trying to push you into one. I just need to know X, or can we just talk about Y? Or I'd love to be there for you if and when you ever do something. Just let me know this. All you're trying to do is get a response, right? We all want to sell a house. We all want to get a new listing. But short of being able to get somebody to move forward now, what we also want is just a response. Because I don't know about you, but you have a lot of people to follow up with, right? You have a lot of people you could potentially be talking to. The best thing you can get is just a response so you know whether to continue trying to follow up with this person or not. The worst thing for us, the big time waster for us as salespeople, is not knowing who you should follow up with and who you shouldn't. So you want to be able to break the ice. Confused. Hey, maybe you're confused. Here's what I'm asking you. Maybe you're confused. Here's why I'm reaching out to you. Or they've already decided against using you and just ignore you instead, of having a tough conversation. And that's one that Kim Allison said, right? In her blog post of a text message, as she described it, she would have said in there something like, listen, if you've decided to go another direction, no hard feelings, just let me know, right? It's not a problem. I'm a professional. I do this all the time. Or they're on vacation, or they lost their phone, right? I'm 3 messages deep. Francis hasn't answered anything. I might message, would whoever found Francis's phone please turn it into the authorities, because I'm trying to get in touch with him and he would never ignore me like this. Do you like that message? I see you guys laughing about this. You just have to get creative, okay? Let's see. Don't remember who you are. Hey, maybe you don't remember who I am. 7 messages later, here's who I am. And this is what I'm trying to talk to you about. Got a new phone and don't recognize your number. You could make some funny messages out of that one. Most of you guys are Canadians. I know you're funny. I love Canadians. Keep forgetting to answer. Or they are embarrassed that they haven't answered you yet. Hey, I get it. Listen, I'm sure that you really want to answer me because it's the polite thing to do. You like the Jewish guilt there. So let me know blank, right? Or they're embarrassed. Hey, listen, I get it. You know, when I forget to answer people too, I get embarrassed. There's no hard feelings. I'm not holding it against you. ... As long as you answer me now. Okay, good. You guys got some ideas there? Have you been writing your messages? So here's some ways that you can go about. These are just techniques that you can use, and we've already seen some of these, right? Informal or casual speech. That's really what I'm talking about today. You all know how to do business speech. I need you to be able to quickly switch over to informal and or casual speech. Humor, persistence, repetition, guilt. I love guilt. Guilt is awesome. Mixing in, like, you could just mix in a foreign language. Hola, bonjour, arigato. You can use emojis. Just send an emoji. Just send a question mark, right? In your series. So, and then we talked about, I'll talk about this concept in a second, but name their feeling. That's some of what we did when we're talking about what's going on with them, the reasons that they ghost you. You can be naming their feeling. You can name your feeling, you know, when we were talking about frustrating, betrayed, etc. The get real approach. Hey, I get it. I don't want to talk to salespeople either when I'm not trying to buy or move forward. Hey, you know, it's I find it easier too to ignore salespeople if I don't want their help, but I'm a real person also. Can you just let me know if that's the case? That's the get real approach. That's where we're kind of like breaking down the fourth wall, right? In acting, essentially. And we're saying, okay, I know I'm a salesperson and you're supposed to ignore salespeople, but I'm actually also a real person, and I'll stop bothering you if you do this. I also love blaming it on my manager. So we have a series of like drip campaigns. One of the best ones is, hey, Jane, listen, I know this is annoying. My manager will not let me stop following up with you until you answer. Can you please just let me know what's up? Do you know how many times I get back, F your manager? I'm like, okay, great, whatever. Well, we broke the ice. We're doing good now. Even carrying on the conversation without them. Jane, just let me know if you're still interested. No hard feelings. No answer. Hey, Dale. Yes, I am still interested, but I'm locked in a trunk right now, and I want you to call the authorities. No answer. Great, Jane. Tell me what your address is. I'll have them stop right by. Right? I don't know, just a series of mess. I'm just carrying on the damn conversation without you and having a fun time doing it. Okay? I like this one. I want somebody to use this. Not Jane, unmute yourself. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Polar bear. Or how much does a polar bear weigh, Jane?
I don't know.
Enough to break the ice. Is this enough to break the ice now, Jane?
Oh,
Bake that into a text message, right?
so
So
dumb knock knock jokes.
Yeah, you do the first one, knock knock, right? They don't answer. And you say, who's there? So you answer for them, and you say polar bear. And then the next message is, or how much does a polar bear weigh? And you say enough to break the ice. Hopefully this is enough this time. Let me know, right? So it's just a series that you could carry on yourself. Okay. Have you guys been writing your messages? Let's do this. Let's hear how they sound and let's start working on them because this is a workshop, right? Who here wants to volunteer and tell me some of the series of messages you have? I love how you're all diligently working. Nicole Burns has mostly been looking at the camera. I guess that means you have all your messages written. Is that correct, Nicole Burns? Kind of. Okay. What about Al Malarino? You got messages written?
I have some. I use some, but I don't have them here in front of me.
Okay. All right. I don't. So Al was not. Al gets. We can't. He's not doing his homework. Everybody. We need Al doing his homework. Who's written some messages that is not Kim Allison? Because I feel like it would take the rest of the hour to hear what your messages say. Suzette. I'm not going to do the last name. Suzette. Let's see. Oh, I can't. Why can't I find your message, Suzette? Well, I do have a question here from Rosie Zhang. Can we use this type of messages for our past clients? Of course you can. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I mean, I've been selling for like 30 years now. Believe it or not, I started selling credit card insurance in a call center in high school part-time. But here's my point. I use these concepts when I want somebody to interact with me. And I'm trying to, I don't know, for my business, for my training company, either I'm trying to get connected with a vendor or I'm trying to collaborate on something or trying to get booked for a speaking gig or whatever it may be, right? I use these things to get a response from people who I already know. So you can actually use it, right? Suzette, you're such a nice person. Hope all is well. Ooh, I like that. You're such a nice person that all this silence makes me wonder if all is well. Suzette, you like that one? Ooh, I like that one. Yeah, Suzette says, I always say, I haven't heard back from you. So let's do this, Suzette. Unmute yourself. We're going to push you. Where are you at? Unmute yourself. Bob, I wish, or Chris wrote, I wish connecting with you was not more difficult than solving a Rubik's Cube. I think, Chris, I might rewrite that. You guys see that in the chat? He wrote, I wish connecting with you is not more difficult than solving a Rubik's Cube. I might rewrite that. I might say, man, I can't figure out which is more difficult, getting you to answer me or solving a Rubik's Cube. Only because I want to make it a little more humorous and a little less, sort of blame, whatever we would call that, right? Let's see. Would you recommend using any of these with someone you haven't attempted to contact with in the past month or two? So Kim C, I usually start professional. This is the pattern. I usually start professional, right? Hey, we haven't talked in months. I wanted to reach out, see if you're still X, Y, or Z, right? That's message one. Message two. Hey, name. Wanted to make sure you saw my message. Haven't heard back. Dale. That's it. Short, right? Small. I just want you to respond. Now, let's say you ignore those two. Maybe it's ... dash. I thought I'd use Morse code because words don't seem to work yet. Right? Now I'm going with humor. I'm not insulting. I'm just going with humor. And I literally just made that up, everybody. I never thought about doing Morse code before. Does that make sense, Kim? Yes. Good. And then if they don't do the Morse code, maybe I'd do like a smoke emoji. And then I'd write maybe smoke signals ... right? And so here's what I would generally follow. I'd say a pattern of 2 professional, a pattern of 3 casual, and then I would either end there or I'd go back with 2 more pseudo professional after that. Okay. Yep, Stephanie. One more time. So if I'm trying to message you, I'm going to start with maybe 2 professional, then I'm going to go with 3 casual, and then I either end and give it a pause, like not hammer you after the 5th time you've ignored me, or when I start messaging again, I'm going to switch back to sort of a pseudo professional. So let me run that through. Hey, we haven't talked in a long time. Wanted to see if you still XYZ. You ignore me. Hey, name, did you get my last message? I haven't heard back from you yet. Too professional, right? Now I'm going to go with, let's say we use the Morse code. ... dash, dash, dash. Maybe Morse code will work. Smoke emoji, maybe smoke signals. Pigeon emoji. Couldn't get a message attached to this damn pigeon emoji. Can we talk yet? Right? So that's 3 in a row. Now I'm either going to take a break because I want you to forget about me and forget that you want to ignore me. You get it? Like I want you to accidentally forget that you were ignoring me. And then we can start messaging again. But when I start up again, it'll be some version of professional. Hey, name, try to reach out a couple times to find out this. Can you let me know? Right? I'm switched back to professional again. Got it, everybody? Okay. I just literally gave you like a series of 5 messages. It's that simple. Okay. We're coming up on time, everybody. The whole point of this being the reason that we do this as a workshop is because I don't want to just give you patterned messages to use. I want you to use your creativity, because if you're reaching out to agents, or I'm sorry, leads that you don't know, you can use a pattern that you feel comfortable with and that you're going to fire off and doesn't feel weird for you. But if you're trying to reach out to people that you've had some interaction with, that's the best. You can be more creative there, right? Because if you've had some interaction and they're a little more stiff or analytical, you're going to dial back the humor a little bit more, right? If they're loose and like Kim, like literally Kim probably wears her emotion on her sleeve. Like I could be like, Kim, I'm dying here. Can you please let a brother know? You know what I mean? And she'd probably find that humorous. Whereas I don't know who's more analytical here, but you know, I had another woman on another webinar where we trained this, and she was very sort of proper and very, you know, analytical, and like that kind of language would totally turn her off. So if you've interacted with somebody, you can really kind of gauge how much you can push versus how much you don't push. But you guys know this and you can write it for yourself. Let's see. Raymond, would you ever comment on something in the community like how a sports team is doing to weave this into your casual convo? Yeah. So Chris or Raymond, I'd say one of the dysfunctions of me is that I don't like sports. I'm sorry if anybody just decided to break up with me over this, but I don't really like sports. So it's not as easy for me to use. But if there's something big that just recently happened, like the baseball team did X, maybe I would work that in, or the football team did X, I would work that in. But you know, if you're messaging somebody like me who doesn't like sports and you're using sports analogies, it's going to separate us. Right? Yeah, unless you use one that's kind of generally accepted or something. Okay, good. So has this made an impact for you guys? Do you like this? Does anybody want to unmute themselves and give me some feedback on where this is going to help you in your business?
I think the thought of building creativity into the messaging is something that I really hadn't thought of, you know? So actively trying to be creative rather than just responding.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Anybody else?
I think it will make things more fun because, you know, we heard everyone's pain points at the start of being frustrated and being all these things, but it brings a little bit of like playfulness to us, which I think can be motivating as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Anybody else? Any shift that this made for anybody in their thinking and their perspective?
I like when you said you can't get any more no than ghosting, because it's like, well, what the heck do you have to lose? I mean,
Right.
really.
Yeah, you can't break it. It's already broken. Good. Excellent. Okay. So again, I talked about classes that we do. So there's two free things that you can get. One is the YouTube channel. Another one is a skill assessment, and I'll show that to you. And I'll also show you again where a link is that you can get to the classes that we teach, and you get a discount as an agent locator user if you're interested in doing it. So let me actually I'll for disclosure here, the content is over at this point. If you want to stick around and you want me to tell you about our free skill assessment and you want me to tell you about the classes that we teach, then stick around. I'll tell you about that. If you don't want to hear me talk about, anything else, the content section's over. Kisses and hugs, which you might want to work into some of your text messages. Kisses and hugs. And I'll see you the next time we do one of these trainings. Good. All right. Who wants to stick around to hear about our classes and our skill assessment? Raymond Kronk. There we go. All three of yous. Excellent. Excellent. We'll do it. Let me share my screen here. Cool. So again, if you didn't already do it and you want more free Dale, go to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do the Cash Call podcast. We're constantly posting really great content there. That's free number one. Free number two, I'm going to skip over the classes. Free number two is this thing that we do called a skill assessment. Now, we are talking about messaging, right? Texting, DMing, emailing, all that's great. But what a core thing that we do is teaching you how to have really great conversations, how to get into a conversation with a lead, right? The most productive way. How to handle objections when they get thrown at you in our way of doing it, which is a really natural way of working with a consumer. How to articulate your value proposition. If somebody said, why should I buy a house with you? Why should I sell a house with you? Being able to answer that in a powerful way that makes sense. Like, I'm pretty sure if I called any of you out right now and I said, hey, why should I buy a house with you? I don't know how confident or impactful your statement would be. And we work on those things with you so that you have the ability to do that. And then closing for appointments, right? When you ask for a buyer to meet with you, when you ask for a seller to meet with you, we do scripting and dialogue and practice with my professional trainers to help you execute on that really well. Now, what we offer is a free skill assessment. You jump on a 30-minute Zoom call with one of our trainers, and they run you through these 4 areas, testing you in a role play scenario, just the 2 of you, so that they can give you feedback on where you can improve. Obviously, when you do that, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I could use help. And we're like, that's so weird. We actually sell training. Here's how we train, right? So yes, you'll get impact from the free thing. And obviously some people, when they come, they do the free skill assessment, then they're like, maybe I need some training. And we tell them what the training options are. That's free thing too. Here's the paid thing. If you want to do this, it's $200 a month. You get 10% off of that as an agent locator client. No contract. Basically, you scan this, you can sign up to do our class pass. And if you see, this is a screenshot of our website. This says class schedule right here. So if you go to our website, let me get us to our website. Here we go. Let me find the website. I'm just going to show you the schedule. If you go to the website and click on that class schedule button right here, this is the topics of the classes that get taught twice a day, Monday through Friday. All these times are in Eastern. All these classes are almost 1 hour in length, similar to what we're doing here. And similar to what we're doing here, we don't have 60 or 70 or 100 people on these calls. It's much smaller. It's typically somewhere between 5 to 15 people on the call with a trainer. And the trainer is teaching you these concepts. And then in a lot of cases, they're doing role play with you to practice. So here's where you can practice, these scripts, these patterns, these techniques, so that you can have better conversations, get more appointments booked, and sell more houses. Any questions?
Is it based on different skill levels or everyone's just grouped together?
So everybody is grouped together. And what you'll notice is when you start looking at these, so for instance, we always on Monday have master your intro to get them talking, right? So master your intro scripts. And intro scripts cover a really wide range of different lead types. So when we're teaching our principles, we teach you core principles, like let's say an introduction, for instance. We base everything on what a consumer wants, because does a consumer ever want to talk to a salesperson unless they're ready for one? No, they don't. Okay. So if a salesperson calls you out of the blue and you don't want anything from them, generally you want to know three things. You want to know, who are you? Why are you calling me? And what do you want? So we teach you concepts like that, and then we practice with you how to apply who you are, why you're calling, and what you want to each of the different types of leads that you're working, whatever type of lead you're working. So we teach a lot of principle-based sales skills, because if I teach you the principle and you understand the principle, on the fly, you become so much more comfortable and able to understand where you're at in a conversation at any given time and know what the best thing is to do next, right? And say next, or keep your mouth shut and not say. Like, you learn those principles and then you can create it on the fly. It works really well that way. So to answer your question, we have some intro stuff like that, like, beginning stuff where we're teaching these core concepts, or things harder, like, I mentioned the value proposition. Why should they work with you? So at its most basic, we have a formula that we use that you first learn, which is we, or my team, with our experience, knowledge, or process, give you result, right? So you first learn that principle, and you hang on that principle what you're going to say about yourself in terms of why somebody should buy or sell. Then you start getting fancier, right? So if you come to that role play and you've done it a couple of times, you come to that role play and the trainer says, okay, Stephanie, you think you're badass with your statement. Here's what I want in an agent. Now sell it back to me. And you have to be able to sell it back, right? Not what you want to say, but what they want to hear. So that's how we advance. Okay. Good question. Any other questions?
It's different, like there's different topics every week?
Yeah, if you see these, if you look at, you can read all the different topics. So we always publish it 2 weeks out, and we have rotating topics. You see all these different topics here. Go to the website, check it out. What you'll see here, the ones that say call review and open role play, this is where you can bring any issue that you have, anything that you want to work on. It's open time for you to work with a trainer. And or one of the best things you guys could possibly be doing is getting some recordings of your actual calls, like I was saying that we do on Cash Call. Bring it in here, and a trainer will play it with you and give you immediate actionable feedback and help on how you can improve. So we also have some of these open role play sessions that you can show up for. And we do these twice a day, because the intention is not that you come to all 10 classes a week. The intention is that you pick the topics that make the most sense for you or that you need, and you can go and get actionable feedback and help every single week with one of these professional trainers. Good. Any other questions?
Dale, yeah,
Yes.
Dale, you said it was $200 a month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and if I wanted to, I could attend all 10 classes.
You can come to all 10 classes every single week. However, I would say, Raymond, I'd really prefer to see you spend a few of those hours actually lead generating versus being
for sure. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yep. Yes, Kim.
So I mean, I think that's great value, Dale, because you're offering so much. But it's a lot in a week. If we miss any that we wanted to go to or that we wanted to watch, are they recorded and we can pick them up at, later in the day or the next day if possible?
We do not record them for a very specific reason. The reason is because they are highly interactive. And what we found is that just because you watch a video doesn't mean that you can execute what we say, and doesn't mean that you'll actually execute what we say in front of a consumer who can potentially not give you business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do is, if you find a topic that you know you need, then you make the space on your calendar and you show up and you do it, right? Because there's this thing that we've discovered in training. It's like, hey, Kim, when somebody says this, you should say that. And you're like, oh, that's great. I'm going to write it down. That's wonderful. I'll do it. And then I'm like, hey, Kim, let's practice it. I'll say this and let's see you do the thing. And then you kind of screw it up and you don't really do it right. And then I correct you and we practice it and then you sound great. And then every time I say this and you say that, and it's all awesome and awesome. And I say, hey, Kim, let's listen to how your calls are going with the real consumers out there. And we listen to the call and you don't do anything we practiced. And then I say, Kim, this is where you apply that thing we practiced. And you're like, oh yeah, okay. All right, well, let's practice it again, Kim. Next time the consumer says this, you say that. And then we keep listening to the calls. And then it gets into what you actually do. And you actually use the techniques and strategies. So this is what I've discovered over years of training. Is me just telling you something has about a 10% chance of actually making it into your real conversations.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, Dale.
You're welcome. Okay. Anything else, anybody? Okay. I have to go. It was enjoyable. Love seeing all you guys. Do you need the QR code or do you need help to? Okay. For the, which one? The classes? Okay. I'm going to share that again. And Emily, drop into the chat my email or drop sales into the chat. Just drop sales@smartsalescoaching.com because if you do that, you can either grab the QR code, pay $200 now. We'll know exactly who you are. Everybody, they'll reach out to you to get you onboarded and get you access to the classes. If you still have additional questions you want to ask, whatever it may be, you can email sales@smartsalescoaching.com and my lovely salespeople will help you out. Cool. All right, everybody. Great seeing all of you. Oh, if you do this, if you do the code, it's going to charge you $200. When you get the email from my team, just say, hey, I'm an agent locator client. Please give me the 10% discount. And they'll give you a refund of 10%. And then fix it in the system so that as long as you're with us, you'll only be billed the 180. Cool. All right. Good seeing all of you guys. I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll see you in the classes.
Thank you.
Thank you.